The clock struck 12. The richest man in Lagos fell to the ground, and nobody in his mansion moved to help him. The rain pounded against the tall windows of the Adebayo mansion like angry fists demanding entry. Inside, golden lights sparkled from every corner. Crystal glasses clinked together as rich men and women laughed and danced. It was Christmas Eve, and Chief Olumide Adebayo was throwing the biggest party Lagos had ever seen. Chief Olumide stood on his balcony, looking down at his guests. He wore a white agbada that cost more than most people earned in a year. Gold chains hung heavy around his neck. His watch could buy 10 houses in the village. He smiled, but his eyes were cold. "More champagne!" he shouted to his servants. "This is my night. Everyone must see how powerful I am." The servants rushed around like frightened chickens. They knew Chief Olumide's temper. One wrong move and they would lose their jobs. He had fired 3 workers that morning just because they smiled at his guests. "Nobody smiles in my house except me," he had said. Chief Olumide was 60 years old. He owned 20 companies, 15 hotels, and more land than anyone could count. But he had no wife, no children, no friends. Only people who wanted his money. "Chief! Chief!" A fat man in an expensive suit waved at him. "Come down! We want to toast to your success!" Chief Olumide laughed and walked down the marble stairs. His legs felt heavy. Strange, he had been feeling tired all week, but he ignored it. Weakness was for poor people, he told himself. The party grew louder. Music blasted from giant speakers. People danced and ate food that could feed a whole village for a month. Plates of jollof rice, fried chicken, suya, pounded yam, and egusi soup covered long tables. But Chief Olumide noticed something. Nobody really talked to him. They talked near him, about him, but not to him. "Did you hear? Chief Olumide bought another bank. He is the richest man in Nigeria now. I heard he crushes anyone who opposes him." Chief Olumide's smile faded. He walked away from the crowd, back to his private study. His chest felt tight. He loosened his agbada and sat in his big leather chair. On his desk was a small photograph, faded and old. A young woman holding a baby. His mother and him, many years ago, before he became rich and hard. "Olumide," his mother had told him before she died. "Money is good, but kindness is better. Don't let wealth turn your heart to stone." I had laughed at her words. Kindness didn't build empires. Kindness didn't make people fear you. He pushed the photograph into a drawer and stood up. But the room spun around him. His chest squeezed tighter, like a python crushing its prey. "No," he whispered. "Not tonight. Not now." He stumbled back to the party, trying to look strong. The clock on the wall showed 11:45 p.m. 15 minutes until Christmas Day. 15 minutes until midnight. The music played louder. People laughed louder. Chief Olumide felt smaller and smaller. The pain in his chest grew stronger. Sweat poured down his face. At 11:59 p.m., he raised his glass. "Everyone, listen," his voice cracked. "I want to make a toast." The clock struck midnight. Dong, dong, dong. Chief Olumide's glass fell from his hand and shattered on the marble floor. His eyes rolled back. His body crashed down like a fallen tree. The movies stopped. For a moment, nobody moved. Then everyone rushed forward, not to help, but to see. They stood in a circle around his body, whispering, "Is he dead? Someone call a doctor. Where is his will? Who gets his money?" But nobody touched him. Nobody knelt beside him. They were all afraid. Afraid of being blamed. Afraid of being involved. One of the servants, a young man named Kunle, finally ran to call an ambulance. But the rain had flooded the roads. No ambulance could come tonight. "We have to do something," Kunle shouted. The guests looked at each other. Then, one by one, they began to leave. They walked out of the mansion into the rain, leaving Chief Olumide lying on the cold floor. Within 10 minutes, the house was empty except for 3 servants. "What do we do?" Kunle asked the head servant, an old man named Papa Gbenga. Papa Gbenga shook his head. "There is an old woman in the village who knows medicine, traditional medicine, but she is 2 hours away by foot." "The roads are flooded. Cars cannot pass," said the third servant, a woman named Auntie Folake. Chief Olumide's breathing became shallow. His lips turned blue. Time was running out. "I will go," Kunle said. "I will run to the village." "In this rain? At night? You will die," Auntie Folake cried. But Kunle was already putting on his raincoat. He grabbed a torch and ran into the storm. The rain felt like needles against his skin. The wind tried to push him back, but Kunle ran. He thought about Chief Olumide. Yes, the man was cruel. Yes, he was wicked. But did he deserve to die alone on Christmas? Kunle ran for an hour through the flooding streets. His feet ached. His lungs burned. Finally, he saw the small huts of the village. He banged on the door of the medicine woman's house. An old woman opened the door. Her face was wrinkled like dried fruit, but her eyes were sharp. "Mama Bisola, Chief Olumide is dying. Please, you must come." Mama Bisola looked at him for a long moment. "Chief Olumide? The man who took my son's land? The man who destroyed my nephew's business? That Chief Olumide?" Kunle's heart sank. "Yes, Mama, but he is still a human being." Mama Bisola was silent. Then she shook her head. "I am too old. I cannot walk 2 hours in this rain. My bones are weak. But..." She turned and called inside. "Neka, come here." A young girl appeared. She looked about 16 years old. Her clothes were old and patched, but clean. Her face was gentle with kind eyes. "This is my granddaughter, Neka," Mama Bisola said. "She knows medicine. She knows healing. She will go with you." But Grandma, Nneka said softly, Chief Olumide is the man who— I know who he is, child. But we are not God. We do not choose who lives and dies. We help those who need help. This is our way. Nneka nodded. She gathered herbs, roots, and small bottles of liquid into a bag. She put on a raincoat and followed Kunle into the storm. The journey back was even harder. The rain grew heavier. The wind grew stronger. But Nneka did not complain. She held her bag tight and walked with determination. Why are you helping him? Kunle asked as they walked. Chief Olumide has hurt many people, maybe even your family. Nneka looked at him. My grandmother taught me something. She said, when you have the power to help someone, you have the responsibility to help them. It doesn't matter what they did before. What matters is what you do now. Kunle was quiet. This poor girl who had nothing was teaching him about humanity. They reached the mansion at 2:30 a.m. Chief Olumide was still breathing, but barely. His skin was grey. His body was cold. Nneka knelt beside him immediately. She opened her bag and began to work. She crushed herbs between her fingers and mixed them with water. She lifted Chief Olumide's head and poured the mixture into his mouth, drop by drop. Get me hot water, she told Kunle, and blankets, many blankets. For the next 3 hours, Nneka worked without stopping. She rubbed oils on Chief Olumide's chest. She gave him medicine every 30 minutes. She prayed quietly in Yoruba, words her grandmother had taught her. The servants watched in amazement. This young girl, with her torn clothes and bare feet, was fighting for the life of a man who would never even look at her on the street. As the sun began to rise on Christmas morning, Chief Olumide's eyes opened. He looked around, confused. His vision was blurry. He saw a young girl sitting beside him, exhausted, her hands covered in herbs. Who are you? He whispered. My name is Nneka, she said softly. You are very sick, but you are better now. Chief Olumide tried to sit up, but Nneka gently pushed him back down. No, sir, you must rest. Your heart is weak. You need to stay still. My heart? Chief Olumide touched his chest. What happened? Kunle stepped forward. You collapsed, sir, at midnight. All your guests left. Nobody wanted to help. But this girl, she walked 2 hours in the rain to save you. Chief Olumide looked at Nneka, really looked at her. He saw her torn dress, her tired eyes, her gentle smile. Why? He asked. Why did you help me? You don't even know me. Nneka stood up and gathered her things. Because everyone deserves a chance to live. Everyone deserves kindness. Even people who have forgotten how to be kind themselves. She turned to leave, but Chief Olumide called out. Wait! I must pay you. How much do you want? Name your price. Nneka stopped. She looked back at him sadly. I don't want your money, sir. I want you to remember something. Tonight, you learned that money cannot save you. Your wealth could not help you. All your powerful friends ran away. The only person who saved you was a poor girl with nothing but knowledge and a good heart. Stay, Chief Olumide said, and for the first time in many years, his voice was gentle. Please, stay and tell me how I can repay you. Nneka sat down slowly. You cannot repay me, sir, but you can repay the world. You can change. You can remember that every person you meet is a human being with feelings and dignity. Chief Olumide closed his eyes. Tears ran down his cheeks. The first tears he had cried in 30 years. He thought about his mother's words. He thought about all the people he had hurt, all the families he had destroyed to build his empire. I have been a wicked man, he whispered. A very wicked man. But you are alive, Nneka said. And as long as you are alive, you can change. It is never too late to become better. Chief Olumide opened his eyes. Will you teach me? Will you show me how to be human again? Nneka smiled. That is something you must learn yourself, sir. But I can tell you where to start. Go back to your village, the place you came from. See the people you left behind. Remember who you were before money changed you. Over the next few days, Nneka stayed at the mansion to make sure Chief Olumide recovered fully. During this time, Chief Olumide talked to her more than he had talked to anyone in years. She told him about her life in the village, how she and her grandmother helped sick people even though they had no money, how they shared their food with neighbors who were hungry, how they found joy in small things, a beautiful sunset, a child's laughter, a good meal shared with friends. Chief Olumide listened and learned. He watched how Nneka treated his servants, with respect, with kindness, calling them by their names, asking about their families. He social real smiles, not the fake smiles they gave him out of fear. 1 week after Christmas, Chief Olumide was strong enough to walk. He called all his servants together in the living room. I have been a terrible employer, he told them. I have treated you like machines, not people. I am sorry. From today, things won't change. Your salaries will double. You will have proper rest days. You will have health insurance for your families. And I will call you by your names, because you are not boy or girl. You are Kunle, Auntie Folake, Papa Genga. You are human beings who deserve respect. The servants stared at him in shock. Auntie Folake began to cry. That day, Chief Olumide also visited Nneka's village. He walked through the muddy paths in his expensive shoes. He saw children playing with sticks because they had no toys. He saw old people sitting in the sun because they had no medicine for their pain. He saw young people with bright eyes and sharp minds who had no money for school. He found Mama Bisola sitting outside her small hut, grinding herbs. "Mama," he said, kneeling before her in the mud, "I am the man who took your son's land. I cannot undo what I did, but I can try to make it right. Tell me what you need. Tell me what this village needs." Mama Bisola looked at him for a long time. Then she said, "We need a school. We need a clinic. We need clean water. We need opportunities for our children. Can your money do that?" "Yes, Mama. My money can do that, and it will." Chief Olumide kept his word. Over the next few months, he built a school in the village. He built a medical clinic and hired doctors. He dug wells for clean water. He created jobs so young people didn't have to leave their families to find work. But more than that, he changed himself. He learned to smile without cruelty. He learned to listen without judgment. He learned to give without expecting something in return. 1 year later, on Christmas Eve, Chief Olumide stood in the same mansion where he had collapsed. But this time, the party was different. The guests were not rich businessmen in expensive suits. They were villagers, servants, workers, children. The food on the tables was shared freely. The music was joyful. The laughter was real. Nneka came to the party with her grandmother. Chief Olumide greeted them at the door personally. "Nneka," he said, "you saved my life that night. But more than that, you saved my soul. I was dead inside, and you brought me back to life." Nneka hugged him. "You saved yourself, Uncle Olumide. I just showed you the path. You chose to walk it." As midnight approached, Chief Olumide asked everyone to gather. The clock began to strike 12, just like it had 1 year ago. But this time, Chief Olumide did not collapse. This time, he stood strong, surrounded by people who truly cared about him. 1 year ago, he told everyone, "I died in this room. Not because my heart stopped, but because my heart had been dead for many years. I had forgotten what it meant to be human. But a poor girl with a kind heart reminded me. She taught me that the greatest wealth is not money. It is love. It is kindness. It is the ability to help others without expecting anything in return." He raised his glass. "So tonight, I make a toast, not to money or power, but to humanity, to second chances, to the people who save us when we fall, to Nneka, who taught me that being rich means nothing if you are poor in spirit." Everyone raised their glasses. As they drank, Chief Olumide looked around at all the faces, young and old, rich and poor, all celebrating together. He felt something he had not felt in many, many years. He felt happy, truly happy. Neka stood beside him and whispered, "Do you know what the best gift is, Uncle Olumide?" "What?" he asked. "The gift of transformation. When a person changes from darkness to light, they don't just save themselves. They save everyone they touch. You have saved this village, and this village has saved you." Chief Olumide nodded, tears in his eyes. He understood now. He had spent his whole life building an empire, but he had forgotten to build a legacy. Money would disappear, buildings would crumble, but kindness would live forever. 3 years later, Chief Olumide passed away peacefully in his sleep. But he did not die alone and unloved like he would have before. His funeral was attended by thousands of people, not because he was rich, but because he had become kind. Villagers came from far away to pay their respects. Former employees told stories about how he had changed their lives. Children from the school he built sang songs in his memory. Neka stood at his grave and placed a single flower on the ground. "Thank you, Uncle," she whispered. "Thank you for showing the world that it is never too late to change, that every person, no matter how lost, can find their way back to light." Chief Olumide's will surprised everyone. He left most of his wealth to build schools, hospitals, and orphanages across Nigeria. He left money to all his servants and workers. He left his mansion to be turned into a community center where people could gather, learn, and help each other. And to Neka, he left a letter that said, "Dear Neka, you gave me the greatest gift anyone has ever given me. You gave me back my humanity. Use the money I leave you, not for yourself, but to continue the work your grandmother started. Heal the sick. Help the poor. Teach others that wealth means nothing without compassion. You are the richest person I ever met, not because of what you have, but because of who you are. Thank you for saving my life. Thank you for saving my soul. You're forever grateful, Chief Olumide Adebayo." Neka used the inheritance to open healing centers across Nigeria, teaching traditional medicine and modern medicine side by side. She taught young people that true wealth is measured not by what you take from the world, but by what you give to it. And every Christmas Eve, she would gather children around her and tell them the story of the billionaire who closed at midnight, and how a poor girl with nothing but kindness saved him. "Remember," she would tell them, "money can buy many things, but it cannot buy a good heart. It cannot buy integrity. It cannot buy compassion. These things can only be grown inside you, like a seed planted in good soil. And when you have these things, you are richer than any billionaire in the world." The moral lessons. This story teaches us many important lessons. 1. True wealth is not measured in money. Chief Olumide had everything the world said was valuable, but he was poor in spirit. Neka had nothing the world valued, but she was rich in kindness and wisdom. 2. It is never too late to change. Chief Olumide was cruel and wicked for many years, but when he saw the truth, he transformed himself. No matter what you have done in the past, you can choose to be better today. 3. The people who truly love you will stay when you have nothing. When Chief Olumide collapsed, all his rich friends abandoned him. Only the servants he mistreated and a poor girl he never met tried to save him. 4. Kindness is a choice, not a feeling. Neke had every reason to hate Chief Olumide, but she chose to help him. Real kindness means helping even those who have hurt you or others. 5. Your actions create your legacy. Chief Olumide will not be remembered for his money, but for how he changed and helped others after his transformation. 6. Pride comes before a fall. Chief Olumide thought his wealth made him invincible, but he learned that every human being, rich or poor, needs help sometimes. 7. Treat everyone with respect. The servants Chief Olumide dismissed as unimportant were the only ones who tried to save his life. My dear friend, as you finish this story, I want you to ask yourself some questions. Are you treating people with kindness, or are you treating them based on what they can give you? Is your heart growing softer or harder as you pursue success? When was the last time you helped someone who could never pay you back? If you collapsed today, who would run into the rain to save you? Don't wait for a crisis to change your life. Don't wait until you collapse at midnight to realize what truly matters. Start today. Be kind today. Help someone today. Because the greatest gift you can give the world is not your money or your success. It is your humanity. Remember Neka's words. As long as you are alive, you can change. It is never too late to become better. Choose today to be better. Choose today to be kind. Choose today to be the person who saves others, not with money, but with compassion. This is the true meaning of Christmas. This is the true meaning of life. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Share it with someone who has forgotten the value of kindness. Share it with someone who thinks money is everything. Let this story remind us all that the greatest wealth is a good heart. May you be like Neka, rich in spirit, generous in action, and always ready to help those who fall. The end. Remember, when you have the power to help someone, you have the responsibility to help them. This is the way of true wealth.